Hi, my name is Subhankar. I am a global program manager from Dell Technologies, and today I'm going to present emotional intelligence in leadership. Let me start with a simple question. How many of you have worked with a brilliant leader but still did not enjoy working with them? That's the gap between intelligence and emotional intelligence. Because in leadership, IQ may get you hired, but EQ decides how far you go. Today is not theory. We are going to break down what actually makes leaders effective in real world situations when pressure is high and emotions are even being higher. This is a very important topic. Request you to pay attention and you're going to walk away with a lot of positives. Most leaders don't fail because they lack skill. They fail because they don't understand the emotions. I once worked with a leader extremely sharp, top performer, delivered every project on time, but his team kept changing, exit after exit after exit. When we spoke to the team, it wasn't his capability, it was how he made people feel. People don't leave projects, they leave emotional experiences. Let's quickly look at the agenda: leadership reality, emotional intelligence, why emotional intelligence matters. Five pillars of emotional intelligence. I'm going to cover some real scenario. We're going to do a quick comparison of EI versus IQ leaders, EI in decision making, EI in crisis, and how to build EI, emotional intelligence. The leadership reality. Technical skills are always visible. You can measure them, test them, certify them. But emotional intelligence is invisible but decisive. It determines whether people just follow your instructions or they actually truly believe in you. Let's quickly understand what is emotional intelligence in leadership. Let's simplify this. Emotional intelligence is your ability to understand yourself, manage yourself, understand others, influence others. It's the bridge between logic and leadership. And why does it matter? Look at today's workplace, people around you working, cross functional teams, different personalities, pressure, deadlines, ambiguity. Do you realize that conflicts happen because of lack of skill or lack of understanding? Exactly. That's where EI becomes your biggest advantage. Let's quickly understand why EI matters today. And just a continuation why I was explaining that when we get to see conflicts at workplace, different discussion happens, different views gets exchanged. And that's where in times of disruption, the EI matters a lot. The EI is the tool which will help you differentiate between the disruptive ones and the actual ones. And what is the cost of low emotional intelligence? Let's understand it. When emotional intelligence goes out of the window, it's completely misses out. It leads to micromanagement, burnout in employees, low trust, and trust is the most important thing in any organization. If you trust, you'll see a lot of good productivity, but no trust, no business. High attrition. I have seen teams where people stop speaking in meetings, not because they don't have ideas, but because they don't feel safe. It's not the right environment for them to open up and speak their thoughts. And the moment safety goes, performance follows. It's all interrelated. You cannot just take one out of the window and rest of the things will fall. If there is no safety, there is no performance, there is anxiety. You don't have the freedom to express your thoughts. Let's understand the five pillars of emotional intelligence: self awareness, self regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. It's not one thing, it's a combination of all this. It's completely built on these five pillars. And I want you to think of this like a system, a robust system. If one of them is weak, the leadership cracks. So it's just a wheel in a cycle. If one knob goes wrong, it doesn't work. The same thing, the same concept. Each of the knob has to work. Okay, let's deep dive into the first one, self-awareness. This is where everything starts. Most leaders, they think they know themselves. But ask them, what triggers you? What frustrates you? What patterns do you support or you repeat? You'll be amazed to see they don't have answers. If you don't understand your emotions will control your leadership. So it's very important you need to understand your own emotions. The self-awareness. That's the first and most important thing which we can't avoid to ignore. Next comes the self-regulation, the react and the respond. What is the difference between react and respond? You got a message. This is not what I expected. Ask yourself, what was your first reaction? Defend, justify, explain. But a strong leader will always pause. They will think and then respond. Leadership is not about your first reaction, it's about your chosen response. Let's deep dive into empathy. It's very, very important. Empathy is not being soft, it's being aware, understanding beyond words, listening beyond logic. When a team member is quiet, low EI leader says, that person is disengaged. High emotional intelligence leader will ask what's happening. Let's understand. Is a person going through any personal turmoil? Let's deep dive. Social skills. You don't need authority to lead. You just need connection, human to human connection. The best leaders don't push people, they pull people forward. They will bring the team together towards them, not going to disengage them, right? Very important thing. Now, let's make this real. A low EI response and understand the high EI response. Your team member is underperforming, okay? Low EI person, You are not meeting expectations. Direct. I I notice something has changed. I want to know more about it. Completely different approach. One is creating fear, one is creating trust and an open environment. And trust drives performance, not pressure. Scenario two, two stakeholders, the two stakeholders is in complete conflict. Low EI, escalate. Let's escalate. Prove who is right. Aggressive approach. High EI. Let's understand both sides and find alignment. Let's see if there is a win-win situation which we can all agree to. Great leaders don't win arguments, they resolve tensions. EI leaders versus IQ. IQ leaders will focus on task, very task-oriented leaders. EI leaders will focus on people, people left, people side, human. And here is the truth. Task will always get completed by people, but who will understand that people emotion? If we are not focusing on the people, if you are not focusing on their decision style, if you are not creating an engagement and high trust environment, how will the leadership look? We need to influence through the connection. And when it comes to IQ leaders, as I said, it is task driven, decisive style. You know, it's mainly they're focused on the compliance, not the commitment. It's an authority based control and it doesn't click all the time. So, very important, we face this the difference between EI leadership and IQ leadership. By now, we have an understanding that what people wants, which approach is more scientific, more people driven, more people oriented, more robust, more and creates an openness, a positive atmosphere. Decision making. Data will always give you direction. Emotions will drive acceptance. Let me give you an example. You can have the best strategy, but if people don't buy in, if you don't get the people trust, people coherence, people buy in, it fails. The system fails. So it's important that you use emotional intelligence in decision making, creating an awareness and an openness for driving the strategy and getting the buy-in from the people is extremely key. You do not need authority. Calm leaders will always create calm teams. What we need is emotional alignment. People follow leaders who understand them, not leaders who control them, dominate them. If you, as a leader, remain centered and composed and calm, your team is as good as you. They will also follow the similar thinking, similar strategy, similar approach, and they will show resilience under pressure, which is very, very important. The hidden skill, influence. We really don't need authority to influence. We just need an engagement buying a confidence. We need leaders who can understand us and who can walk along with us. I don't know if you have realized the most influential leaders don't command. They will connect with people, and when people feel understood, when people feel they are being well taken care of, they will follow willingly without any authority. They will take it on their own. How to build this emotional intelligence? Let's understand this. And let's make this very practical. We need to ask better questions, reflect daily what's going on, and we need to add small habits which will lead to big transformation. Observe the patterns and reflect daily. Now, what's the leadership shift? This is the real shift from control to connection, from authority to influence. This is not a skill change, it's an identity change. From your control to transformation, shift from your positional power to earn respect through emotional alignment and trust. Start leading people, not just projects. Let me leave you with this. Your intelligence will open doors, but your emotional intelligence decides how far you go. Don't just manage projects, start leading people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me. You can connect with me in LinkedIn. Here is the QR code. It was great presenting.